Today we're going to talk about making Pittsburghs, and in the field when you're making transitions, Pittsburghs are probably the most popular joint you're going to use. Now here we just have a small transition that we made in the shop, just 4 inches by 6 inches, got 1 inch flanges on each side, but we need to join it together here in the corner, and we're going to use a Pittsburgh joint to do that. And it has a male tab here and then the female side over here. So this just gets pushed in, sometimes easier than others, but pushed in like that. And then that leaves this little tab here that I can take my hammer and I'll hammer that over, which will then lock that tab into place, and I'd end up with a nice joint. So let's take that apart for a second here. Show you how to make a Pittsburgh here. We've got 2 pieces of metal that I want to join together in a corner like this. So I'm going to start by making my male end first, and I'm going to use my gauge here. I'm going to set this for, there we go, I'm going to set it for just under a 1/2 inch, about 5/16 or so is plenty. You could actually make it a little shorter. I'm going to score it just like this. So if you can see there, I've got this score mark on it. I'll take this over to the brake and I'll line it up on my line here, clamp that down, and I'm going to bend this right on up to 90 degrees, just like that. So here I've got my male tab on my Pittsburgh, but now I need to make the female side. So I'm going to start at 1 1/4 inch. Set my scribe here to 1 1/4 inch. And as you notice, Pittsburghs go to the outside of the bend here. So this is going to be on the outside of my transition piece. I'll make the 1 1/4 inch mark. I'm going to turn it over, and I'm now going to make this at 3/4 of an inch. Whoops, I'm sorry. Yeah, 3/4 of an inch. Just like that. I'm going to scribe another line. So I've got a 3/4 inch on this side and a 1 1/4 inch on this side. I'll bend the 1 1/4 inch bend first. Set it into my brake like this. Now I'm going to take this up just past 90. Not too much further, but just a little past 90. Now I'll turn it over, and I've got my 3/4 inch bend here. Set it in my brake. Line that up just like so. This one I'm going to take all the way over. I want to take that just like that. So now I've got a piece that looks like this. This is going to be the outside corner, and ultimately that's going to fit in there. Now I'll take my hammer. I'll take that down like that. I'll set it back in the brake here. So I want this to be nice and flat. So now I've got my piece that looks like this. I take my slot here, my male piece, and I fit it in just like this. Take it like so. And I will then bend that piece over, making a nice tight joint. So let me go ahead and do that on here so you can see how that's actually done. So I fit the 2 together like this. I'm going to take my hammer here. Now I've got this really nice tight joint. Hammering this lip over, lock that into place. I've got a really nice tight Pittsburgh. Now another option you have is if you have a structural piece that where you need to make sure that this is going to really hold together. Like if you're building a transition between a furnace and an existing evaporator, you want to make sure that your corners are really solid. So I'm going to make this just a little bit differently. Let me go to the other end here. The male side is just as it was before. This time I'm going to make my first bend at 1 3/4 inches. Just like so. And I'll score that. I'll flip it over. I'll make this one at 1 1/4 inch. So we're going to do this. So on the outside I went 1 3/4. On the inside I went 1 1/4. I'll make the outside bend first. This lined up in my brake like this. And again, I take it just past 90. I'm going to flip it over. Bring that up like so. Take this up nice and tight. And I'll flatten it down here. Okay, so now I have a much bigger lip to bend over. So I'll put my male slot in or tab in like this into the slot. But now I've got all this space to bend over. And let's see if I can do that without okay, now I'm going to flat. And I can use sheet metal screws like this, and it makes a very solid joint. And bend this to nice and 90. There you go. So my tab's held in place. I can use screws to further hold it nice and tight. And that's your Pittsburgh.
Go to arefco.com for more videos. Like, subscribe, and check back every week for new videos.